Hello! In this video we are going over lesson 1-04. I want you to do the launch activity, at least the first part, by yourself because I think that the directions are pretty clear. So pause for a moment and complete this and press play when you are done. So we are going to work backwards to figure out how I got my final answer. So if I ended up with 44, I want to be going backwards up this chart, right? So if I am dividing my final answer to get to 2, then that means to get to the step before, I would need to do the opposite of that and multiply by 2. So I'll multiply my 44 by 2 and move my 88 up here. So before that, I was supposed to add 4 to my new number. So again, we want to do the opposite of that, and we are going to subtract 4 to get 84 for the step above. And then I multiplied my number by 6. So again, I'm going to do the inverse of multiplication, and I'm going to divide by 6. And when you do 84 divided by 6, you should get 14. So again, I want you to pause for a second and explain this process that I just did here that hopefully you did before me. So I do want to leave you with this little summary piece. So summary: inverse operations help us to work backwards to solve for unknown. So we are going back to a situation that we were using in 1-03, wherein Naya was ordering screen protectors for her phone. The protectors cost $3 each, and she had a $5 discount if she ordered 10 or more screen protectors. So in all of our examples, she ordered at least 10, so we did not need to include that 10 as part of our equation. And we ended up with this equation here of 3p minus 5 equals c. So for the first 3 parts of the table, we were just plugging in our numbers into the equation to solve for c. But in this last part, instead of being given the number of protectors, we are given the total cost. So we need to use inverse operations to work backwards from the cost to the number of protectors. So we're thinking about where this equation, this 3p minus 5 equals c, came from. So we started with the number of protectors, and then we multiplied by 3, and then we subtracted 5. And I'm using this dot as multiplication because we need to move away from using x as multiplication because it gets confusing when you were using x as a variable. So how we're going to work backwards from this using inverse operations, we are going to, starting with the cost now, do the opposite and in the opposite order. So we're going to start with this minus 5, which is going to become plus 5. Because we're working back towards the number of protectors, we need to add 5 back in. And then, after we add 5, instead of multiplying by 3, we are going to divide by 3. So, let's try that out. So the total that we're working with here is 85. So if we start with 85, we're going to first add 5, which will get us to 90. And then we're going to divide by 3, which is going to give us 30. So that means that she started with 30 screen protectors. And to check your answer, you can always take this 30 and plug it back in this way, and you should get the same answer. So for the guided practice piece of this, we are looking at a similar situation where Anastasia is going out to eat with 3 of her friends, and they are trying to split the bill evenly, but they also have a gift card for $10 off their bill.